Okay, this is day 354, part two, and sorry that video keeps getting cut off when I start talking about JTTF. I am not doing that. I don't know what's happening. But anyway, I saw an interesting comment of the last video about Debbie Wasserman Schultz having these addresses up in Jackson Heights and part of New York here, as well as some other Awans, maybe even Hina Alvi now. But this caught my eye. There's a Pakistani music television show called Coke Studio, and it's about three Pakistanis living in New York. So I just thought that was an interesting show. And then there's a whole bunch of references here to getting visas for people, bringing in visas. And this reminded me so much of the person I went through Canada studying this visa thing. She had obviously been close to a person who had was on the international terrorism watch list, ended up not only getting a visa to the United States, but also a passport to the United States by going and saying he was a student at a fairly older age, I think 38 or 9, of the New York Film Academy. So it definitely seems like this Schumer, Wasserman, Clinton, visa and passport turnstile. And then adding to that, they're using them as cheap labor, putting them into these different businesses, and then they have the hammer of deportation over them. So it's just kind of interesting. And it also could be money laundering in the sense that when you have a lot of money, you put it into a bank and the bank reloans it out to somebody else, and now you've laundered the money. So I just thought this was an interesting set of an interesting comment with a lot of specific references to a lot of different documents. I don't have time to do all the drill down on this, but there's lots of pointers going to this ACE Software Solutions in Queens Village, New York, and I think this is also Jackson Heights as well. We talked about the studio that they had, the Awan studio. I think that's coming up here. Here's a Schenectady address for visas and documents, which is close to more upstate New York by Albany, where the Attorney General is. And just some different addresses here with people, contributing money from Pennsylvania Avenue in Washington, D.C., and then saying their employer is up here named Muhammad Awan on 555 Bartlett Street, apartment 322. I don't know if that's Jackson Heights or not. But that's from the Federal Elections Commission. And then there's student visa type applications where you say, okay, I want to bring this person Hina Alvi in and this Nalia Hyatt, and they're going to do a certain project, and that's how you do I believe how you do an H-1B visa. And it was for the National Institute of Health here, NCBI, and I forgot what NCBI does. I want to say infectious diseases, but I know that's wrong. Anyway, I wanted to do a quick follow-up because this is the kind of thing I was talking about with metadata. These addresses lead somewhere. They're not saying my employer is Muhammad Awan, 555 Bartlett Street, apartment 322, Jackson Heights, from somebody working down in Pennsylvania Avenue. I don't know why that just makes, it seems like if you're on Pennsylvania Avenue, you're not a software engineer, but maybe you are a software engineer. Maybe you're working on NGP Van or some, game or something. But it seemed like it was worth drill down. And I know there's people out there that can look this stuff up. This is the comments from the video one this morning. So I'm going to just leave it there as kind of like a video appendix to video one. This is part two. And let people look into this, and I'll report later on what we found.